welcome to Passport Adventures, where each week I'll be your tour guide as we explore countries around the world from the comforts of home. And where are we headed this week? We're headed to the other side of the world, to the island nation of Japan. It's going to be a long flight. Let's get started. Wow, it looks like we've landed right in the middle of downtown Tokyo, one of the world's largest cities. How large? Over 38 million people large. That's more than twice as many people live in New York City. Oh, and here is the busiest intersection in the world, Shibuya, where as many as 3,000 people cross the street at a time. Can you imagine? Oh, I love this picture of Tokyo. You can see beautiful Mount Fuji in the background. Mount Fuji is one of over 100 active volcanoes in Japan. But don't worry, it hasn't erupted since George Washington was president. This is Mount Sakurajima, and it is erupting right now. But don't worry, they've got everyone safe. There's a variety of landscapes in this island nation. In addition to the big cities, there are villages and tropical beaches, houses floating on rivers, beautiful countrysides that even get snow. And a variety of landscapes like this leads to a variety of creatures too. Let's look at some. Oh, that's the national symbol of Japan, the red-crowned crane. And there next to it is the adorable snow monkey. It's really cold in the winter where they live, but because of all the volcanic nature of the habitat, they can lounge in these steamy springs to get warm. This animal here that looks a bit like a goat, that's called a cerro. And these critters that remind you of raccoons, they're tanukis. Oh my gosh, look at this cutie. It's a Siberian flying squirrel. I wish we had these here. Oh, not all the animals are cuddly. Look at the size of this spider crab. Animals don't just live in the water or the wilderness. The Sika deer are so tame you can find them all over the city of Nara. They're protected because they're considered sacred in the Shinto religion. Here are some kids. If I want to say hello to them, I say, Konnichiwa. They most likely have names like Haruto or Hamari. Those are two of the most popular names for Japanese children right now. Can you guess what they're doing in this picture? They're walking to school. See, they all have on their school uniforms. Almost all the children in Japan wear uniforms to school. And from grade 1 on, they all have to walk. But in kindergarten, it's a whole different story. Look at these buses. These are kindergarten buses. For 1 year, the kids ride in these fun vehicles to school each day. But when they're in first grade, they're considered old enough to walk to school and even to go shopping alone. Kids don't bring their lunches to school either. They and their teachers all eat the same lunch. They have to help serve it and help clean up afterwards. But they don't mind because the lunches are awesome. Here's some kids at recess. They play a lot of the same games we do, like tag and hide and seek, but they just call them by different names. One of the most common things you'll see happening on the playground is this. Can you tell what game they're playing? It's what we call rocks, paper, scissors. It's one of the most popular games in Japan. They call it jankenpon. But it's not just something kids do. Adults do it all the time. In fact, Big decisions and little decisions are often solved by a game of junk and pawn, but more on that later. Now, if we asked kids in Japan what their favorite holiday is, they'd probably say Kodomo no Hi, which is Children's Day, the 5th of May every year. It started out being just a day about boys, but in 1948 they decided that it should celebrate the health, happiness, and growth of all children. Starting about a month before, they hang these koinobori outside. They hang them in parks. You hang them outside your home, in front of businesses. Now, these koi are a kind of fish. It's a fish kite. And the reason they chose this fish is because of an old legend. The legend goes that lots of different fish were trying to swim up a waterfall. One by one they all gave up, except for the koi. The koi kept trying and eventually reached the top, where it was magically turned into a dragon. Cool. So they use these kites to remind their children to persevere and to keep going. In their homes, they display samurai armor. Now, the samurai were warriors in Japan that were very strong and very brave, and those are two qualities they want to remind their children of. And if you look at the helmet on the samurai, I want to give you just a little bit of trivia. That helmet is the inspiration for Darth Vader's costume in Star Wars. So if you've ever seen Star Wars, that's where they got the inspiration for his outfit. Now, if they don't have a full-size samurai armor to put in their home to display, they display dolls dressed in samurai clothes. Isn't that kid adorable? The day starts with a morning bath. Now, one thing I want to tell you about baths in Japan is before the kids get into the bathtub, they actually take another bath. They wash off clean and then get into the tub each time they take a bath. Isn't that fun? Well, on the morning of Children's Day, all the children take a bath in iris leaves. Iris is a very pretty purple flower, and the leaves are said to look like samurai sword blades. So they bathe in that for good luck and strength. The children may dress in costumes. They may be very elaborate or a very simple origami paper samurai helmet. The children are measured to see how much they've grown. They have a special children's Olympics, and they have outdoor games and picnics. And the treat of the day is mochi. Mochi is a rice flour treat, and it has flavored bean paste inside. Now, when we think of rice and beans, we don't think of dessert. But trust me, you try one of these and your mind will be changed. It's a chewy, delicious treat. Now, if we want to say goodbye to the people in Japan and head on home, this is how you say goodbye. Sayonara. Sayonara, Japan. Oh, it's so good to be back. That was a really fun trip, and as always, I want to do some things to remind me of the fun I had. So if you look in your packet, you will find some royal milk tea. This is a Japanese tea, and it's not a tea bag, it is not loose leaf. This one is actually more of a treat tea. So you just pour it into boiling water. Ooh. And stir. Ooh, that looks good. Nice to have a little treat while I do my arts and craft projects. Okay, now the two things we're going to make are an origami heart, which I thought was a good idea since Valentine's Day is coming up, and origami is a very important craft in Japan. And the other thing we're going to make is a koi nobori, one of the windsock kites of koi that hang on Children's Day. So let's get started. All right, now here is my piece of paper. You'll have a piece of paper in your packet too, and you'll see that there's a print side and a plain side. So if you want to make your heart a grayish color, you start with that side, and if you want to make it one of the red patterns, you start with that side. Now, first thing we're going to do is put the paper in a diamond shape. Then, the instructions are in your packet, but I do want to run through them with you so you can see me do it. You pull point to point and press. Now we have a triangle and we open it back up. Then we do point to point in the other direction. So instead of up and down, we're going to do point to point from side to side. And we're going to open it up again. So now we have a diamond that has creases going across both sides. Now, we're going to take the top, the point at the top, and pull it till it meets the crease in the middle. And then we flatten it. Then we take the point on the bottom, and we're not going to meet this crease, we're going to go all the way up to the top. So we're going to take that and fold it all the way up to the top. Now, this is the part that gets a little bit tricky. We want to fold, how can I explain this? Put your finger on the line in the middle, and you're going to take this point until you've made that line meet the middle. Pull up this point and go up till that line meets the middle. Remember, in origami, there's no scissors, there's no tape, it's all folding. So, now you have a basic heart shape, but to make it a little more heart-like, we're going to fold in these pointy corners. So I can flip it just a little bit, and you don't fold the whole thing over, just the little bit that's really sharp. We don't want our hearts to be sharp and pointy. And so I folded over the two tops. Now these pointy sides, I'm going to do the same thing. Just fold over a little bit so they're not quite so pointy. And now you have an origami heart that you can give to your Valentine next week. First craft is done. Yay! Now the second craft, I've put in two because the koi nobori are color-coded. So if you did it all in black, it would be a dad koi. If you did it all in red, it would be a mom koi. If you do it in shades of blue, it's a boy koi. And if you do it in shades of pink and orange, it's a girl koi. So I've already made the girl koi. Now I'm going to make a boy koi. Boy koi, that rhymes. Try and say it 3 times fast, I dare you. So first thing I need to do is cut it out. Now that we have it cut out and colored in, we're going to assemble it by rolling it. Now I found this part to be a little bit tricky, so I took a paper towel tube and just put it right edge to edge with the carps or the koi Same kind of fish. Nose. And, sorry. Tape it on there. Ah. Now all that's left to do is put a string on to hang it from and put the streamers on to blow in the wind. So you can staple it or tie it through a hole, however you want to hang it. I'm simply going to put a piece of tape on the ribbon, put the ribbon inside. So now we can hang it from that. And now I have streamers. Now I gave you the stuff to do a pink one and a blue one. You can mix them up if you'd like. And now I'm thinking, do you ever have a thought after you started doing something that would make it easier? Maybe I could have taped on the streamers before I rolled it. There's a thought. If you like learning from other people's mistakes, you can tape on the streamers before you roll it. But it came out anyway. So here I have my koi nabori to hang outside in the nice weather, not this inclement, rainy, snowy weather we have, but the next nice day I can hang that out. And the next thing I want to do is play a game that we saw the kids playing on the playground in the pictures. Maybe I can find someone around here to play the game with me. We'll see. Back in a minute. All right, I found somebody to play the game with me. Yay! But first I have to explain to him the rules. First of all, rock, paper, scissors. Those are the words that we use in English. The words for those things in Japanese are gu for rock, gu. Scissors is choki, choki. And paper is pa. Now when we play, we say rock, paper, scissors. They don't do that. They say rock is first, and that is sai, sha, gu. Sai, sha, gu, and then they say jump, ken, pon, when they throw whatever it is they're going to throw to try and beat the other person. Now, like I said, this isn't just a game for kids. Grown-ups use this all the time in making their decisions. And my favorite story that I've heard of was this man who was selling millions of dollars in famous paintings. And he had to decide whether to sell them through Sotheby's auction house or Christie's auction house. Whichever company got the bid would be making millions of dollars. And how did he make the two auction houses duel it out? With a game of Jankenpon. That's right, Jankenpon settled that decision for them. Wow, more than just a game, guys. Now, if we tie, like when you're playing at home and you go rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and you both do scissors, and you just say, oh, it was a tie. They say, I koda show, as they do it again. I koda show, I koda show, I koda show, until somebody wins. Now, if you look online, you will find there are all sorts of variations of the game. Some of them are downright silly. We're going to try and play it the straight way, the same way we would play rock, paper, scissors here in the United States, but we're going to play Jankenpon. So we start with Sai, Sha, Wa, Gu, Jankenpon. Oh no, we tied, so we have to say a koda show. Aha! I have scissors, choki. He has paper, pa. I win. Best 2 out of 3. Let's go. Sai, sha, wa, gu, Jankenpon. Aha! I win again. Paper, pa covers rock, gu. I think I like this game a lot. Did you ever do that? You learn a new game and you win a lot, so you're like, hey, this might be my new favorite game. So thanks for playing along. And where are we going next week? You'll have to wait and see. Sayonara, boys and girls.